To truly understand the legend of the BMW E46 M3 GTR, one must first grasp the sheer audacity of its creation. It was not born of necessity, but of cold, calculated dominance. It was the winter of 2000, and the American Le Mans Series, AMS, GT class was a grueling battleground dominated by the raw American muscle of the Chevrolet Corvette C5R and the relentless, highly refined Porsches. The standard E46 M3, while a masterpiece of high-revving German engineering, was powered by the S54 inline-six, which, in endurance racing trim, simply lacked the torque and ultimate power output to consistently challenge its V8 rivals. BMW Motorsport, headquartered in Munich, was faced with a critical decision: accept mediocrity, or fundamentally alter the blueprint of their most iconic sports car. They chose the latter, and the resulting creation, the M3 GTR, became a symbol of the German firm's relentless, almost ruthless, pursuit of victory. The M3 GTR was a stealth bomber disguised as a coupe. Under its vented hood lay the beating heart of the controversy, the P60B40 engine. This was no off-the-shelf unit, it was a bespoke, 4.0-liter, naturally aspirated V8 developed exclusively for racing. Crucially, it featured a flat-plane crankshaft, giving it a distinct, almost Formula One-esque shriek unlike the muffled roar of the American 5.8s or the smoother sound of the standard S54. In race trim, this engine was pushing close to 500 horsepower, but its true advantage was its low center of gravity and its lightweight construction, contributing significantly to the car's razor-sharp handling. Coupled with a race-spec sequential gearbox and advanced aerodynamic modifications, including a massive carbon fiber rear wing and aggressive front splitter, the M3 GTR was immediately recognized as a machine operating on an entirely different performance plane. However, the drama wasn't in the speed, it was in the small print. AMS regulations for the GT class required the racing car to be derived from a production model, with a specific number of road-legal versions needing to be offered for sale to the public for homologation. This was intended to ensure that race cars retained a link to what the public could buy. BMW exploited this requirement with surgical precision, building a tiny, almost symbolic batch of Straßenversion, street version, M3 GTRs, powered by a slightly detuned P60V8. Their interpretation was that this token effort satisfied the rule. The rivals, led by the aggrieved Porsche teams, screamed foul play. They argued that the road car was a shell of a concept, built solely to justify the V8 race car. This was the opening act of the greatest engineering versus regulation conflict in modern racing history. The moment the M3 GTR hit the track in 2001, its speed was not just celebrated, it was immediately condemned as the unfair advantage. It was too good, too powerful, and fundamentally, according to its rivals, illegal. The moment the M3 GTR hit the American circuits for the 2001 AMS season, the complaints that had simmered in the background exploded into open warfare. The dominance was absolute, immediate, and demoralizing to the competition. Piloted by the formidable pairing of Georg Muller and J.J. Leto, among others, the V8-powered BMW was an unstoppable force in the GT class. It secured victories at the 12 Hours of Sebring, Laguna Seca, and Petit Le Mans, demonstrating incredible reliability and speed over long distances. The team won 6 out of 10 races that season, leading to both the manufacturers and the drivers' championships being clinched by the German contingent. The raw performance data was undeniable. The P60 engine allowed the GTR to maintain higher speeds on the straights and exit corners with blistering acceleration, characteristics that the six-cylinder rivals simply could not replicate. However, the opposition, primarily the factory-backed Porsche teams, shifted their focus from the track to the boardroom. Their argument centered fiercely on the homologation fallacy. They asserted that the 10 or so Straßenversion road cars BMW produced were not genuine attempts at mass production, but merely props to satisfy the letter of the existing rule. The spirit of the rule, they maintained, was to promote racing between cars that the public could realistically purchase. Building a handful of bespoke, six-figure V8 coupes did not qualify. The pressure mounted on the International Motor Sports Association, IMSA, the sanctioning body for AMS. The tension was palpable. Either the organizers accept the GTR's dominance and risk losing key competitors like Porsche, or they intervene. The decision came in the form of a sweeping, targeted regulation change for the 2002 season. The new rule was precise. For any car to compete in the GT class, the manufacturer must have built and sold 100 road cars to the public within a continuous 12-month period, and, critically, those cars must utilize 1,000 engines produced for that specific road version. This was an astronomical financial barrier, specifically designed to exclude the highly specialized M3 GTR. BMW Motorsport estimated the cost of producing and selling 100-volt 8 Strassenversions at a massive loss would be unjustifiable. Faced with this impossible ultimatum, BMW officially announced its withdrawal from the OMS GT class for 2002, effectively sealing the competitive fate of the V8 M3 GTR. It had been deemed the champion too costly to challenge, and was legislated out of existence, securing its legendary, illegal status in motorsport history. While its career in the high-profile American Le Mans series was controversially truncated, the M3 GTR's legend transitioned seamlessly back to its European homeland, where it was, and is, celebrated as a triumph of German engineering, rather than a homologation headache. Of the very few Strassenversions ever built, a number generally believed to be around 10, the vast majority were repatriated and secured by BMW's own historical archives in Germany, namely in Munich. These hyper-rare coupes, which reportedly cost over €250,000 at the time of their token sale, were simply too significant to be sold off in any volume. They became museum pieces immediately, showcasing the extreme measures BMW was willing to take for victory. Today, 3 of these cars are confirmed to be preserved by BMW AG itself, acting as tangible proof of the V8 venture. They serve as a powerful monument at the BMW Welt Museum, a physical embodiment of the car that redefined racing rules. However, its most vibrant presence in the European consciousness comes not from static display, but from its dynamic exhibitions. The M3 GTR frequently makes highly anticipated and often dramatic appearances at prestigious motoring events across the continent. The most notable venue is the Goodwood Festival of Speed in the United Kingdom. Goodwood, with its emphasis on pure speed and automotive heritage, provides the perfect, non-regulatory stage for the M3 GTR. Here, the car is allowed to run the legendary hill climb course, demonstrating the same blistering performance that got it banned. The roar of the P60B 40 8, unencumbered by competitive restrictions, thrills vast crowds, cementing its reputation among the UK and wider European enthusiasts as a true, albeit outlawed, engineering masterpiece. The European context strips away the regulatory baggage of the OMS, allowing the focus to shift entirely to the car's spectacular performance and its unique place in the history of the M3 lineage. It is the definitive, if only, car, a German icon whose true potential was only ever fully realized far away from the rulebooks that sought to silence it. The ultimate act of defiance and the true source of the BMW E46 M3 GTR's global fame arrived not on an asphalt track, but on a digital screen. After being effectively erased from professional motorsport, the car found unparalleled immortality in the hands of Electronic Arts and its seminal 2005 release, Need for Speed: Most Wanted. The game's narrative perfectly capitalized on the car's real-world history of controversy and illegality. In the game, the M3 GTR, adorned in its now iconic blue and white livery, is the protagonist's prized possession and the ultimate symbol of street racing supremacy. The plot revolves around the car being stolen, forcing the player to fight their way back up the infamous blacklist to reclaim it. The game transformed the M3 GTR from a racing footnote into a universal cultural icon. The car's distinct features were amplified for the digital world. The unique, high-pitched whine of its sequential transmission, an unforgettable audio signature, became synonymous with high-speed police chases and ultimate escape. For an entire generation of gamers, the GTR was not the result of a homologation loophole. It was the ultimate fugitive machine, capable of challenging the authorities and dominating the streets. The choice was ingenious. By selecting a real-life car that was too good, too powerful, and thus effectively banned, the game designers perfectly captured the outlaw spirit central to the Need for Speed franchise. The fact that its road version was almost impossible to buy or even see in reality only heightened its mystique in the virtual world. The M3 GTR became the most desired car in digital street racing history, ensuring that the legacy of BMW's controversial V8 experiment would live on, regardless of the fate of the original 10 Strassenversions. It stands as a rare example of a race car achieving far greater fame in the virtual underground than it ever did on the official circuits it was designed to conquer. From the meticulous German engineering rooms in Munich, through the fiercely competitive American circuits, and finally into the hands of millions in the virtual streets, the BMW E46 M3 GTR remains a legend forged by controversy. Its story is a powerful reminder that sometimes, the machines that break the rules are the ones we remember forever. Which aspect of the M3 GTR's defiant history resonates most with you? Is it the pure sound of the German P60 Volts 8? The drama of the American banishment? Or its eternal status as the king of the virtual streets in Need for Speed? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of band legends.